Good morning, my Lawson Road friends. I hope today finds all of y'all well and doing good and ready for a great morning of praise and worship with Pastor Richard. You know, when I was a little boy, we used to go down to some friend's farm and spend the weekend and do things that we couldn't do in town. And these friends, their house was really, really old. As a matter of fact, it was so old that it didn't have running water and barely had electricity in it. So that meant that if during the middle of the night, and a lot of you guys understand what I'm talking about here, during the middle of the night, if nature called, you had to make that 40, 50 yard walk down to the outhouse. And I tell you what, that was very traumatic on a 6, 7-year-old boy. It was so dark you couldn't even see your hand in front of your face. And I could make that 40, 50 yard run in record time. You know, it's one of those feet don't fail you now times. But, you know, from that moment on, I was really not really comfortable with being in the dark. And still to this day, at 61 years old, I really don't like the dark. And not really afraid of it, but just don't like it. But, you know, have you ever been afraid? You know, that afraid, like I was talking about, that feet don't fail me now afraid. You know, people are afraid of a lot of things nowadays. They're afraid of something or someone. They're afraid of something happening. And we've all been afraid from one time to another about different things. But, you know, nowadays fear is everywhere. People are afraid to go out in public because of COVID. They're afraid of something the government's doing, or they're just afraid of being sick or alone. You know, it can be something personal, and it doesn't even have to be something big, like being afraid of the dark. And when my grandson spends the night with us sometimes, he always wants me to check the whole house before we go to bed. We have to make sure that the doors are all locked and everything's in place and everything's shut up good and tight and safe. And I always tell him that Pops and Gigi will always keep him safe, but he just needs that last little extra bit of sense of security. You know, all of us have that need of security from time to time, and God has provided it through Jesus. The Bible tells us in Matthew 28:20 that Jesus told his disciples to fear not, for I am with you always. Now, he didn't just say sometimes, he said always. And that promise is true for us today as well. What a comfort that can be to us. You know, no matter what our situation, no matter what our fear may be, we know that we're not alone if we've accepted Christ as our Savior. The Bible also says that all we have to do to have that security is to put our faith and trust in Jesus. You know, we may still have difficult or scary situations that go on in our life, but we can know that we're not alone and that Jesus is with us always. Hope y'all have a great week.